please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mrs. Espiritu to be our treasurer pro tem.
Second.
Moved by me, seconded by Ms. Laird. I'll vote yes. Espiritu.
I do the roll call. Okay, roll call. Mr. Gorbetz,
Yes.
Mrs. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Here.
Mrs. Ray,
Here.
and Mrs. Phoebe too. Yes. And then we do the roll call for the president.
What's that for the?
Yeah. That was for
For the
appointing
motion?
her. Yeah,
For-
that was roll call for the
That was the
motion.
motion.
Yes.
Oh,
That was the motion to have her be the
Yes.
sorry.
Okay.
Copycat.
glasses are falling. Okay, roll call, please.
Okay. Mrs. Spirito, here. Mr. Gorbetz,
Here.
Mrs. Laird,
Here.
Mr. Price,
Here.
Mrs. Ray.
Here.
Okay, this time I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session. Purpose of item K.
Second.
All right, I'll first with that.
Sorry.
Seconded by Ms. Laird. Roll call, please.
Mr. Gorbetz
Yes.
and Mrs. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
and Mrs. Spirito. Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody again. We've already had our roll call and our Pledge of Allegiance prior to the executive session. So we will jump to approve or amend and sign the minutes of the special meeting held September 23rd, 2021, and the regular meeting held September 27th, 2021. We have a motion to do that, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Price, second by Mrs. Ray. Any questions or concerns regarding the minutes? Roll call, please.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu,
Yes.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbutz.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, do we have any walk-on items?
Actually, I do, Mr. Gorbetz. Board members, at your place are 3 actions in personnel that I'd like to add into our personnel section. The first one will be item 29. It will join that section. Then the second and third will be in item 30. 29 will be resignation, and 30 will be 2 appointments. So, thank you.
Okay, legislative report.
Yes. I want to follow up on the discussion that we've had on the food shortage in the school and let you know what we found out so far and where we're at moving through the different divisions of government to research that. So I had a conversation with Representative Gary Click and Senator Bill Reineke. Both were very quick to respond to the request for questions. And through them, we were guided into a different direction. So folks, what happens here is the federal government at the USDA level sets the guidelines for nutrition for K through 12. That's done at the federal level. Then it comes down to the state level. The Ohio Department of Education says, okay, based on these guidelines, here are the food products that you're allowed to give children K through 12. And then they take a look at the our population, poverty levels, those kinds of things, and they allocate what's called commodity dollars. It's federal funds, but it's allocated at the state level. So one of the issues that we're tripping over is just how tightly those commodity dollars are managed. So once you get your commodity dollar assignment as a district, you know how much you have available, what kind of food you're supposed to go provide for the children here. You do a regular public bid process so that all of the vendors get a chance to participate in that. And then whoever wins the bid, that's your commodity agent. The issue that's happening right now is the food provider, which is Gordon Foods, who won the contract, has not been able to fulfill all of the orders. Yet there's been times where we've been 50% of what we've had to order in order to feed the kids. So what we've had to do is go then outside of what Gordon Food has available because they simply don't have the supply. And then look for other things. And we've gone to other vendors and suppliers who've been gracious. Tom mentioned Tiffin Paper Company has been able to support some. We're only getting about 60% then of what we order from them, and then so on. The issue is this: of the commodity dollars given to the district, the only company that's allowed to be paid with those dollars is Gordon Foods. It doesn't matter that they couldn't fill the contract. Yeah, so the 60% of product they were short and what we need to feed the kids that we have to go purchase then elsewhere has to come out of general operating dollars, even though your allocated funds are sitting over here. It's like, yeah, you got money in the savings account earmarked for food for the kids. But simply the way the law is written right now, only the winner of the commodity contract can receive commodity dollars. So what they've suggested that we do is then take it to the next level. Our representative that would help with federal issues is Jim Jordan. So we've reached out to someone on his staff to request some time to talk about the issue. And what we'll be asking for is the process of a variance an emergency clause that if your commodity agent isn't fulfilling the contract, then you should be able to open up those commodity funds so the money you have to feed the kids can be used to feed the kids, even if that has to come from another distributor. And we're sure this is happening because we're kind of in historic times and it's just not happened before. So I got to believe we're not the only one in this discussion. I think that's what we'll find when we make the call. But that's where we're at so far. So my next update will be hopefully that we got a call back from Mr. Jordan's staff and are able to get some information from him that I can share. That's my report for tonight.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Gorbes. Welcome, everyone. I've got some good news first. There is an organization that we work with called the Ohio School Board Association, and they put out some recognition for those school board members who have earned it. So I have a press release here for our district. It's from Angela Pinquit of the Ohio School Board Association in Columbus. Violetta Ray, board member of Fremont City Schools, was presented with the Ohio School Boards Association's Training Award at the association's Northwest Region Fall Conference. The conference took place in Willard High School last week, October 7th. The Training Award recognizes school board members who participated in professional development events and activities delivered by the Ohio School Board Association and the National School Board Association. The Training Award is one of 4 recognitions that comprise the association's STAR Awards, which honor the work of school board members. In STAR, the S stands for service, the T for training, which is what Violetta was recommended for. A is for aptitude, and R is for recognition. A board member that receives all 4 of these awards during a 3-year period becomes a master board member. So I just want to publicly thank you, Vi, for all the hours and hours of extra time you've put in professional development and seminars and sessions and meetings and committees and all that you've done. So Vi, thank you for your efforts to be a on the ball board member. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Well done.
Just then one other thing, and I know what everybody's minds are on is where we are with the world and COVID and trying to get school back in session. I'd like to share with the community what where our numbers are. You know, a few weeks ago was given permission by the board to do a 3-week mask mandate. So I do have some numbers I'd like to share. On the screen, if you look, you can see this is every Friday of our school year so far. September 4th, 11th, 18th, 25th, and October 2nd, and then last Friday, October 8th. The red line is the number of students that have been quarantined out of school that week. So September 4th, I think it was like 8 or something like that. It peaked on the 11th and has been going down a little bit ever since. And you can see then the mask mandate was September 27th, which is right there by the 25th. So when the steep numbers started declining there on the 25th, correlates with our mask mandate. Now the blue line are not our quarantine numbers, but our actual positive cases. So you can see that much less dramatic, obviously, and luckily is on the downward trend. Let's see, it did peak on the 18th and 25th. I believe there were 38 or so that for those 2 weeks, positive cases in the district each week. You can see right there is the line, that thin vertical line is the date we implemented the mask mandate. So we're just through 2 weeks. I look forward to later this week, we'll be able to see what that 3rd week looks like. So that's the letters there. I also thought for comparison, it'd be good to show what the county's numbers are, you know, because we're our own little community, obviously, in the school, but we also want to know how our county's doing. And that is our county positive cases. So that correlates, if I'll go backwards, that correlates with our blue line at the bottom of the graph. So that blue line is our positive in-house numbers. Then that number, oops, touch the screen, are the county's numbers. And you can see a similar decline countywide for COVID cases. Just so everyone knows, I'm not ready to make a recommendation yet. I'd like to get through this week and maybe later in the week roll out kind of what's next. I'm praying that the numbers continue to go down, and we will and devise a plan and get that out to the community as soon as possible. So that's my report on the COVID numbers. That's it, sir. Thank you.
All right, first hearing of the public. Fremont City School District citizen recognized by the chair may speak on any issue during the recognition of visitors and hearing of the public sessions, but the chair may limit remarks pursuant to the debate regulations of Robert's Rules of Order and Fremont City School District policy. So when you come to the podium, if you wish to speak to the board, please state your name and address, limit your statement to 5 minutes, and direct your comments to me, the Board of Education President.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, School Board. My name is Robert Gross, 315 Lincoln Street. I am the Economic Development Director for the City of Fremont. My wife is a teacher at Ross High School. I have 2 daughters at Ross High School. I officiate high school football and high school basketball. So that's a little bit of what I do in my interaction with the school. But I am here in my capacity as the Economic Development Director. I want to talk to you about housing. I'll pass out some reports.
I can help you with that, Bob, because the community can't hear you if you're not away
Okay.
from the mic. So just a heads up.
Yeah, so, and I'll make this quick. I'm not asking the board for anything, but we have a housing shortage in Fremont, and this report indicates that. It's been something that's been speculated by developers and real estate agents, but we wanted facts and research put to it. So we hired a group out of Columbus, DeSalvo Development. They do housing studies for communities throughout the state of Ohio. They've done several for Findlay, Bryan, most recently Tiffin. And so Pete DeSalvo is an expert in there. And so we just thought, we believe there's a housing shortage, but what does that mean? Is there really a housing shortage? Is it rental? Is it ownership? What type of housing is it? And I want to bring your attention to the first page. And I kind of highlighted or put a red sticker next to the sentence there. And DeSalvo's developed, and it says here, and I'll just read it to you, and I'm going to speak quick to be conscious of your time, but it is DeSalvo Development opinion that the next 3 years, a market here in Fremont could sustain up to 230 to 300 new houses in Fremont. And then it goes on later on in that page. The city of Fremont has the oldest housing stock in Northwest Ohio and is the lowest among housing production for more than a decade. The median home built was in 1948. And Fremont has the 12th oldest housing stock in the state of Ohio. I won't go too much further into the report. There are a couple of highlights I wanted to bring to your attention. I would just ask that you read that report and review it and really kind of wrap your minds around it. I give you this information in that I've received phone calls from 4 different housing developers, specifically Hayes Elementary site. And DeSalvo Development spent 6 months researching this, and they even highlighted areas that would be good for housing, and that area, and then a little side street next to Otis Elementary off Brush is another highly recommended street. I'm trying to convince the city, EPA, we had to wait, but where the old Klaus Cutlery site as a potential other housing development site, that infill property. And I just want to bring it to your attention. I've had developers from Cleveland and Toledo read this report, contact me and ask me about the Hayes Elementary site. And I've been quick, and I think people in the public think maybe the city owns it or the developers think the city owns it. And we said, no, we don't own it. School owns it. And it is entirely at their discretion. And I know John and I spoke this past winter, and I said, John, I'd like to come to the school board and give a short presentation on housing. And you know, you guys have been through a lot through last year, virtual learning, hybrid learning, building new schools, tearing down old ones, politics. And so I very much understand of all the things you have to digest and go through. That's not at your top priority at the moment, and it shouldn't be. Other things are more important. And I'm not asking you to make it a top priority. I'm just bringing some information to your attention to be aware of, that developers have seen this report, have visited Fremont, and kind of pinpointed locations for housing development And the Hayes Elementary site kind of keeps coming back up for attention. And I don't know if they've contacted any of you. I've asked them. We don't own the property. I mean, I have great relationships with some members of the school board and great relationship with Mr. Detweiler, and I've given them the name and number, and so they said they would. I don't know if they have. But I just want to bring that to your attention that as you kind of get through some of the other top priority things, and maybe as you turn your attention to 22 and you're wondering what to do with that site, maybe you guys already have plans too. I'm not assuming anything. If you have a long-term investment of what you may need that site for down the road, that's great. If you're not sure what to do with it and you're kind of shifting through or sifting through all your options, I want you to have this information to know that there are people interested in it. And the one thing I would ask is zoning. You know, if you ever, and I kind of want to explain it this way, if the board ever comes to the decision that they want to move on from that property, I would ask that you work with the city to get that rezoned before you put it up for auction. Mostly because I think there's single family homes on all four sides, so it makes sense to make that single family home. Plus, I think the school board, if ever goes out to auction, could garner more money if it's rezoned ahead of time. Developers are private sector folks. They don't like governmental red tape, and they're interested in, if they were interested in acquiring the property, they would want to get it cheap because they know there is maybe 6 months worth of work to get it rezoned and prepped for their development. But if the site is my up? All right, 30 seconds, I'll be out of here. So with the thought of that in the back of your mind, if you ever thought you want to get rid of it, I think you could garner more money if you rezoned it ahead of time because you would cut down on some of the cost and some of the things that a developer would need if they were to pursue it and then rechange the zoning to build anything there. So that's it, school board, not real short and simple. I want to be conscious of your time.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to address the board?
My name is Chris Mullis. I live at 28 Pinewood Drive. Before I begin, I hope that everybody has received a copy of the memo sent out by the United States Attorney General, Merrick Garland, and the other letter that was sent out, the 5-page letter sent to the President of the United States from Viola Garcia, who's the head of the NSBA. It has some very important information in it, and I think it would be imperative that every board member reads that. I appreciate and respect your comments, Mr. Price. I appreciate and respect your comments against masking Fremont students. It was presented very definitively, and it gave me the opportunity to reflect, to think about what you said. I learned long ago it is important to listen to both sides and decide for yourself rather than have someone tell you what you should do or think. Unfortunately, some agencies of the United States government would view you as a domestic terrorist, and you can see that in these two articles here.
Can I just ask a simple question? Did you bring the FBI with you? Just making sure.
No. I, for one, do not feel that way. The Fremont community is well served by your presence on the board. Also, the NSBA letter to the president states in Ohio, anti-mask proponents are inciting chaos during board meetings. Once the more than a dozen federal law enforcement agencies are put in place to handle these so-called problems, maybe, just maybe, you might be arrested. I say that tongue in cheek. Activists with Living United for Change in Arizona is funded by a $1.5 million donation from the liberal left George Soros Open Society Foundation as its main source of funding. They recently harassed and intimidated Arizona Senator Kristen Sinema while using a public restroom. Arizona law indicates, as many other states do, is unlawful for any person to knowingly photograph, videotape, film, or digitally record another person without that person's consent in a restroom, bedroom, locker room, or other location where a person has a reasonable expectation of privacy. President Joe Biden, and it is hard for me to spit those words out of my mouth, called the incident, and I quote, part of progress. And he additionally replied, it happens to everybody, except those people who have protection. The National School Boards Association sent a letter to the president in it requesting federal law enforcement and other assistance to deal with the growing number of violent threats and acts of intimidation occurring across the nation against schools. More than a dozen federal agencies, including the United States Department of Justice, FBI, Department of Homeland Security, the Secret Service, the National Threat Assessment Center, National Security Branch and Counterterrorism, state and local security, plus any other federal agency with relevant jurisdiction and authority. It has become very clear that armed agents will enforce the left's ideology and intimidation and indoctrination among the American school children. The last vestige of hope in America. As we have seen happen many times, the government is not out just to protect those they believe might be threatened, but to destroy or possibly bankrupt those parents who show up at meetings with real concerns. What organizations truly speak for them or our children? At a previous Board of Education meeting, Sherry Mullins presented information concerning the progress of the Diversity and Inclusion Program. Not knowing there would be a presentation, the other attendee and myself left. Mrs. Laird suggested Mr. Detweiler catch up and see if we wish to return for the presentation. Why was the public not informed about this presentation dealing with an issue that is so hotly debated in school districts throughout the country? This was not handled very professionally. Always reflect on the 5 Ps for life when making decisions that affect our children. Proper planning prevents poor performance. 2 points out of many I would like to revisit dealing with diversity and inclusion. Burning bridges out of poverty under activities, develop and promote and implement a minority youth summit. This sounds like identity politics. All of us here this evening are mostly minorities. My ethnicity indicates that I make up 1/100th of 1% of the American population. Would I be eligible to participate in this summit? If you speak the words of Martin Luther King, judge a man not by his color of his skin, but by his character, you might be called a racist by those of certain political persuasion. We never hear the words of Jesse Jackson, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, spoken anymore. If I may have just a few more seconds. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that was the buzzer.
Yeah, that was one.
That is the
Okay, second point, underprivileged, which begins in 2020, 2023, and 24, includes community engagement and parent involvement. Seems this step would have been first in the plan, but now I have a better understanding of why it wasn't. Watching the Virginia governor's debate between Glenn Youngkin and Terry McAuliffe, Youngkin said, quote, I believe parents should be in charge of their kids' education, to which McAuliffe replied, quote, I don't think parents should be telling schools what to teach. To which a few days later, he made a futile attempt to try to walk back his words, and he is not only the only one speaking his words. My mother and father always told me, if something comes out of your mouth, you own it forever. Thank you very much.
Hi, Jenny Kramer. I wrote my address out there. I just wanted everyone to know, like, I just wish the schools would be a little more transparent. You know, I come to these meetings now and I talk. And tonight I wasn't going to talk. And then I watched the slideshow. And not that it's bad. It is showing data, but it only shows one example for me. Like, you only show where you implemented the masks and how the decline happened, but you didn't show how, a week and a half prior to that, you cut lunches, split lunches in half for the middle schools. They're only 14 minutes now, so only half of the number of kids are in there. This is where, you know, us parents get fired up, because it kind of reminds me of the meeting, you know, when you implemented the masks also, like you had 2 doctors present for your side of the, you know, of the case. Like, if we're going to be transparent and we're going to really discuss things and really talk about things, again, I said it in my first speech, we need the opposition always. Doesn't matter what your opinion is, what you like or don't like. When you only show one side, this is where everyone gets mad. So it was mostly, I wanted to just bring up, yeah, that data does not show that lunches are cut in half, lunches are split, and they're only 14 minutes now. So yeah, you saw a decline, but there's way more variables than just putting a mask on. And, last 2 weeks ago when I talked to, it's like, I want these variables known. It's not just we're decreasing because of this. There's a lot more things going on out there, And I also wanted to ask about phys ed. All the gym teachers are still making the kids mask up. I mean, I get it. I know lesson plans are made. I'm sure they have to figure out what they have to do before school starts. But I mean, it's been nice out. The kids can't go outside without a mask, or you can't figure a different activity for these couple weeks. I mean, we're all changing everything we're doing. And we were kind of told if you don't mask up, punishments will happen. Well, again, opposition, your teachers aren't following it. You said personally, Mr. Detweiler, I think, we're going to try to figure it out for gym. No masks, no mask at recess. So this is, again, where parents get frustrated. I get it. We get it. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but I think we all need to try to do better personally. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
I was at the high school the other day and I passed a phys ed class and not one person in the gym had a mask on.
Oh, good.
Just pointing that out.
Yeah.
It's not everybody.
And grade school.
During a presidential fitness test, like when you're running the hardest.
Would anybody else like to address the board? Okay. We will go forward.
Thank you, Mr. Gorbetz. Continuing on the agenda, we have item 1, considering the approval of donations. We have several listed. Sam Burlekamp, Don Broski, Church of the Nazarene, Rivers of Living Waters Church, Scorda, Kelly Cart Sears, and Bridget Smith. We thank all of them for their generosity.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve item 1?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Ray.
No.
Second by Ms. Laird. Any concerns or comments regarding item 1? A roll call, please.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbetz.
Yes, motion carried. Our appreciation.
Thank you. Moving on, item 2 through, it's quite a big policy list, and 2 readings, so through 26. We had a very lengthy policy committee meeting a week and a half ago, I think, last week, and kind of chewed on these and bringing those to the board for your consideration as a first reading. I would encourage the board to look at some of these things. Most of them are driven by law. I mean, very, very direct. You can see, we look at the ORC and there's the language in the policies, but there are some things that I think are noteworthy here. One thing that I would like to point out just for everyone is where we did kind of take a local stance, and that's on our tobacco use policy. We have allowed adults to smoke in their cars as a district for years. And I have sort of thought that's been practical. And part of that is we still have some staff members that smoke, and to ask them to leave school property would mean they have to drive away often to get off school property. So that is one deviation. But the rest of that, I think, is pretty straightforward stuff. I'd appreciate you looking at that, and we need a first reading approval for those.
A motion to approve items 2 through 26.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Price,
Second.
second by Ms. Laird. there any questions regarding any of those policies or concerns? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbetz.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, student matters.
Thank you, Mr. Gorbetz. Item 27 is the first item. This is the approval for a national FFA convention in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's out of state, so we need board approval, please.
Motion to approve item 27.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Laird,
Second.
second by Mrs. Espiritu. Are there any questions or concerns regarding this item? Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbetz.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 28 is the board's approval of a resolution approving a Red Ribbon Week, something we've done for years, and it just helps us stay sharp on our message for drug-free lifestyle.
We have a motion to approve item 28. Moved by Mrs. Ray,
Second.
second by Mrs. Espiritu. Do we have any idea what activities, type of activities we're
Yes, lots of, we have some guest speakers coming in, obviously, some special lessons. They try to integrate that into other areas of subject areas. So try to do as many ways as possible. Our SROs are an integral part of that program as well, as they try to help our kids make better decisions.
Okay. Roll call, please. Is there any other discussion regarding that item? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu,
Yes.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbetz.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Into personnel items now. This, ladies and gentlemen, would be where our walk-on items would go. Item 29 would be the top on your sheet for Justin Elric. Then under item 30, I would have our support staff substitutes and the hiring of Justin Elric. So those are be added to 29 and 30. Moving on, item 31, supplemental contracts. It's I see some spring sports on there actually, but mostly winter. With your approval, we'll get those supplemental contracts approved this evening. That continues on to the next page, page 10, item 32. All more supplemental duties. These are for our non-certified coaches and assistants. Moving on, item 33. Some special event workers. This is approving Noah Eberly to videotape football. Item 34 are status changes, either due to time spent or increased licensure or education levels. We need your approval for those status changes. That continues on to the next page where we have our roll call.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve items 29, 34.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Price,
Second.
second by Mrs. Espiritu. Any concerns or questions regarding items 29 to 34? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu,
Yes.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Ms. Ray, Mr. Gorbetz.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, fiscal matters.
I do have one thing for tonight for approval from the board. We had some supplemental appropriations. We had a couple of new accounts that had to get added in that missed that original appropriation that I had on the board last week. And then our future farmers also had to increase how much they needed for the year. And then the only other thing I have is my office is very excited to go from a department of 3 to a department of 4 with the addition of Justin Elric. I'm sure the bus garage and transportation department is not real thrilled with me right now, but my staff is very excited to have him as an addition in our group.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve item 35? Moved by Mrs. Ray,
Second.
second by Mrs. Espiritu. Any questions regarding item 35? Roll call, please.
Ms. Ray?
Yeah.
Ms. Spiritu?
Yes.
Ms. Laird?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes. Carries. Okay, board member communications and information requests. Mr. Price.
Thanks for everyone coming out. For those of you that spoke also, thank you for the information, all the different things. That's how we're going to make our best decisions, is having more and more information brought to us, having your guys' opinion and everything. Good luck to the sports teams. We're starting to wind down fall sports. Biggest thing would be my condolences. We lost a coach that's been around for many, many years with Coach House. My condolences to his family and friends and all the kids that he has been a part of their life for however many years. That's a big loss. So that's all I have.
Ray.
I'd like to, I agree with Mr. Price in offering our condolences and appreciation for the contribution, or we call him House, Mr. Jones. And also, I'd like to just congratulate our little Giants on their win Friday. That's always exciting. And thanks to the community for showing up to our meetings and offering your input. As Mr. Price said, that's the way we use your input. You know, what you say is important to us. We want to know what you're thinking and how that's working. And thanks to our community, just so graciously always are providing donations of supplies and things for our students. So that's pretty much.
Sorry, folks. It's a tough asthma time of year for me. Apologize for that. I'd like to publicly thank Representative Click and Senator Reineke for being so accessible to us and so quick in their responses in complicated matters. And I just think that they've really shown a dedication to try to support the school and understand needs and provide guidance. So thank you.
I also would like to thank the community for the donations. They're always very helpful. I also like to thank everybody that comes in, that's been coming in, and like Tom and Vi have mentioned, it is helpful, and we like to hear from the community because it's not easy making decisions up here, and it's helpful that you guys come in and you guys are part of our conversation and how our decisions are made. And I would also like to congratulate Vi for her award.
I'd also like to congratulate Mrs. Ray.
Thank you.
It took a lot of time and effort and work and perseverance to qualify for that type of an award. So
Thank you.
congratulations. And I'd like to express my condolences publicly to Coach Jones's family and friends. A huge loss to the community in many ways. And people like that aren't easily forgotten. He will be remembered by all of the students whose lives he touched for a very, very long time. And I'd like to thank our audience for your input also. With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Price, seconded by Mrs. Ray. Roll call, please.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Spiritu,
Yes.
Ms. Laird,
Yes.
Mr. Gorbetz.
Yes. You're adjourned.